If you're an ESOP participant and you've been in a company for 10 or 15 years and you've hit age 50, you probably have significant wealth built up in your ESOP, your 401k, and maybe your spouse's retirement plan. So at age 50, that's an excellent time to create your first retirement income forecast before you even hit diversification eligibility at 55. Why would you want to do that? You might want to make sure that you're on pace to replace your income at your potential retirement date. So you might do a retirement income forecast with your financial planner and find that you can actually retire at age 61, or you may find that with the trajectory you're on at age 50, you might have to think about working a little longer. Also at age 50, that's a good time not only to look at the income side, but your balance sheet. How much debt do you have at age 50, and what other financial obligations do you have? For example, are you prioritizing funding your children's college education, or are you prioritizing funding your own retirement? So, competing goals and thinking about how those might affect your future and your family's future at age 50 is a really good time to bring in and consult with a financial advisor. ESOP diversification is the option, but not the requirement that at age 55, you can sell back up to 25% of the shares you've accumulated to the company. So perhaps you've accumulated $4 million of company stock, and at age 55, you're given the option to sell back $1 million of those shares to the company. What you do with the money when you sell back the shares to the company is up to you. You can receive a check and put that money in the bank, but there's significant tax consequences and perhaps some penalties. You can also take the cash and roll it to an individual retirement account or another company retirement account, such as the 401k. That keeps those funds tax deferred, and you can reinvest that money to continue to grow your wealth towards retirement. For most ESOP participants, if you've elected to diversify at age 55, you are granted additional shares in the company between age 59 and whenever you actually leave and retire. But the main next big milestone for diversification eligibility is at 60. You may have the option to diversify a small number of shares each year between 55 and 60, but it might not move the needle enough significantly to make it worthwhile to diversify those extra few shares each year over that 5 year period. If you have huge ESOP balances or huge payouts each year of new stock, then it could be worthwhile. So it really is company specific. Perhaps you're in a stock incentive program and you have incentives that mature that you're getting separate from the ESOP. So every case is different. In addition, even though you've done a retirement income forecast at age 50, a retirement income forecast at 55 to decide whether to diversify, if there are significant life events such as the birth of a grandchild or the purchase of a second home or some unfortunate event such as a diagnosis of an illness, that would be a good time between age 55 and retirement age to update your financial plan with your wealth manager too. If you're getting ready to retire in the next year, it's really important to make sure that your expenses for the first 1, 2, 3 years of retirement can be covered from a stable withdrawal source. For many individuals, that withdrawal source could be a money market fund, a savings account, a certificate of deposit, or a low risk bond fund, such as a treasury bond. Why do we want to have that? You don't want to have all your money in an equity fund or a stock fund where there's a potential of the stock fund going up by 20% or 30% a year, or the stock fund craters like we saw in March of 2009 by 40%. Why is this? You don't want to be selling stock when it's way down to fund your immediate expenses. You really want to have your stock portion of your portfolio be the growth engine and selling from the gains and harvesting those gains to pay your expenses and overcome inflation during retirement. We have talked about bucket strategies before, a now, soon, later bucket, and the now bucket should fund the first 3 years of retirement, and the now bucket should include low risk investments. There are many different considerations around taxes when you enter retirement, and it's important to consult with a professional to help line out for you all the tax decisions that are going to have to be made. Examples of those tax decisions include what federal tax bracket am I going to be in? Am I going to get hit with Medicare surcharges because I'm in a significantly higher tax bracket because I took a lump sum distribution in 1 year of my ESOP, as an example? Am I approaching age 73 and the government's going to force me to take higher required minimum distributions than I've been taking from my IRA or my 401k account? All these moving pieces can either lead you to pay higher income taxes, or if you make the right decision, you can potentially minimize your taxes year to year and across your retirement. There's no one size solution fits for everyone. In your case, you need to really line out each source of retirement income, how much you need to pull from those year to year, and what your tax forecast is going to be. Not only this year, you want to forecast your taxes, but for the next decade, and then figure out what decisions you should make. Should you do a Roth conversion? Should you go ahead and spend from the tax deferred account this year or spend from your taxable account? These are all important criteria to line out in your tax and retirement planning situation. For many individuals, the decisions you have to make around diversification, whether to do a Roth conversion, even what account to save in, what account to spend from during retirement, can be complex and a little bit overwhelming. That's where a professional wealth manager can help you and guide you through these decisions and simplify. If we know your vision and values for retirement, and we know your basic expenses you need to cover, as well as the aspirations you want to achieve, like taking a family vacation every other year to that house you love on the East Coast, outsourcing and delegating can really relieve a lot of stress for ESOP participants, whether you are doing your first diversification at age 55, your second diversification milestone at age 60, or you've actually retired and you just need a steady retirement income payout. At Peak Wealth Planning, we help you have confidence in your retirement. First, we create a plan for you. We identify your spending goals and your big picture goals. We plan for unintended items that can come up and derail your safety and security in retirement, such as unintended healthcare cost or a liability lawsuit. And we try to transfer those risks out. In addition, during the planning phase, we forecast your taxes and we implement and recommend strategies that we work with your CPA on to minimize your taxes wherever we reasonably can do so. And then finally, we're there to answer your immediate questions that you need answered or your year-to-year check-ins to make sure that you're on track and you have the money and the funds you need and you can enjoy your retirement with confidence. Subscribe to this channel and visit peakwealthplanning.com.